Okay, let's look at two more with domain and range. So we're going to look at absolute value, and absolute value is a distance from 0. So like absolute value of -5 is 5, absolute value of 5 is 5. And we're going to say again, can I do things to negatives, zeros, and positives? So with domain, am I allowed to take an absolute value of a negative number? And yeah, I just did, so okay. Can I take absolute value of 0? Yeah, 0, 0 spaces from 0, so sure. Can I take an absolute value of a positive number? Yeah. So my domain is everything. Negative infinity includes 0 all the way to positive infinity. So get my range of this one. So again, I want to know if I can get a negative, a 0, or a positive. So if I look at the range, absolute value, taking an absolute value, can I get a negative of that? From that? And I can't. Absolute value is a distance. I can never have a negative as a distance. So I'm going to say I can't get a negative from an absolute value. Can I get a 0? Sure. Can I get a positive? Sure. So my range would be 0 to positive infinity. But again, I'm adding a 2 here. My 2 is outside my function, so it's affecting my y's. And so if the absolute value itself can give me the lowest as a 0, if I add 2 to that, then the lowest that this can give me, the absolute value would give me 0. Adding 2 to that, the lowest my whole function could give me is 2, all the way up to infinity. So this would be my range. Okay, so let's try it with the next function. Again, I'm going to go with negative, 0, and positives. So can I have, and I look at what's happening to my function, my x is in the bottom of a fraction. Can I have a negative in the bottom of a fraction? Can I have 1 over -2? Yeah, I can have a negative in the bottom of a fraction. Nothing's bad about that. Can I have 0 in the bottom of a fraction? And no, this time I can't have 0 in the bottom of a fraction. That gives me an undefined term. Can I have a positive in the bottom of a fraction? Sure, 1 over 2 is a thing. So the only thing I can't have is 0. Well, what would make this bottom of the fraction be 0? Just 7. So x cannot equal 7. I can write that in set notation. If I write that in set notation, I will have negative infinity to 7. Use parentheses so it doesn't equal 7. Union 7 to infinity. So that would be it in set notation. Okay, so let's look at my range. Range again, negative, 0. And I'm trying to say, what can I get out of this fraction? Could I get a negative out of that fraction? And yeah, can I get a negative out of a fraction with x on the bottom? Yeah, I could have 1 over -2. That would be a negative fraction, so I can definitely get a negative. Can I get a 0 out of a fraction with x on the bottom? Can I get 1 over anything to give me a 0? And I can't. Only way I can get 0 out of a fraction is if 0 is in the top. But the only thing in the top is this 1, so I can't get 0 out of this. Can I get a positive out of this fraction? Sure, I can definitely get a positive out of this fraction. So the only thing I can't have in my range is, I can't get out of this fraction is 0. The only thing I can't get out of this fraction is 0, and I'm adding 3 to that, then the only thing I can't get out of this function is 3. So again, I can write this in set notation, negative infinity to 3, use parentheses so it doesn't equal the 3, union and 3 to infinity. Okay, we're going to continue doing domain and range throughout this course, so hopefully we'll have fun with it.